Katey Ulrich. I said that right?
Yes.
All right, welcome to the Vermillion Unplugged. Again, I'm here at the brewery because I was here with Ed yesterday. Well, it depends when this episode aired. But how are you doing today?
So good. We're both at the gym, start off our day on a high note.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I almost died. So I go to the gym all the time, and usually I just lift weights. Back then I used to do powerlifting, and then today I was like, you know what? Let me do I do cardio. I like being on my bike.
Yeah.
Outside, but I was like, you know what? I should start running.
I'm just gonna give it a shot.
Yeah. So I was running. I did, I think, like 2 laps up or on top, and I was like, I guess it's fine. But like, I feel bored, so I was like, let me go outside. So
And it's like 80% humidity.
yeah, and then where the softball field, so I ran that whole thing, and then there's all this wind, and it's hot, and then I'm dying. And I looked on my phone. I'm like, man, how much did I do? I bet I probably did like 10 miles. And it said like 0.99 miles, and I did like 9 minutes. I'm like passing out. I'm like, this is way harder than being on the bike.
That's the hardest part about Vermillion is if you get into running, to go any substantial distance, you have to run the town like 18 times. It's like, okay, where can I find a loop that's more than 3 miles? And that's challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Running is hard. I thought it was, well, because, I could be on my bike, but I guess, the using your legs is way different, because I felt it.
Hurts your knees.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to do that again. I'll think about it.
One and done. We'll find out.
But yeah.
Next year, we're going to come back and you're going to be like, I ran a marathon.
That's the goal. So at the church I go to at Hillside, there's this guy. His name is Randy, and I see him running all the time.
Interesting.
I think he's in his 60s. But
cut that out.
Yeah. But he's
20 and really young and fit.
Yeah. I mean, he looks fit. But they say he used to be like a professional. So I think he did what do you call it? The triathlons, like when you on the bike and swim.
Yeah.
But I see him running all the time. And like even in when it's cold in the snow, I'm like, oh, snap. And then there's other people that in this group I'm with, they like running, and then they talk about that, I only did like 10 miles and all my pace was only like 6. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I did like almost a mile in like almost 10 minutes and I'm passing out. But let's get these going, because this is about you. So, Katey, what do you do?
So, where we are now, I'm one of the owners of 19 Brewing Company, and I manage our social media marketing strategy, and then manage our tap room and our bartenders and our head bartender. And then by day, I'm the director of admissions at the USD Knudson School of Law.
Oh, how long have you been doing that?
I've been at USD for 8 years, but I've been at the law school for 3.5. 3.5.
How old are you? Oh, I should have asked that.
That's okay, 31. I just turned 31 last week.
Oh, I thought you were my age.
How old are you?
I just turned 29.
Wow.
Well, she's about to turn 29.
Almost.
Okay.
Close.
Everyone looks young. And then I said the same thing.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yeah. I said the same thing with Ed last time, because he said
he just turned 41. We're exactly 10 years apart.
Yeah, and I was like, I thought you were younger. And then there's this thing, because it's true. Like when we got here, me and Myra, we thought all these people were way younger, and they do look way younger. Even like my uncle who lives in Sioux Falls, he's like 70. He looks very young. And then we heard it. We're like, it's probably the cold weather kind of freezes the.
There you go. In. Yeah, my parents look great, so I have good genes. Thankful for that.
Okay, sweet. So, but let's get with here. We'll start with the brewery, and I talked with Ed about it, but let's get your side.
Yeah.
So, how did it start?
Great question. So it was like summer 21, and Leslie and I were working on a campaign together, and I just made a comment to her. I was like, I bartended at the Varsity when I was getting my master's, and I love it. I love Diane, love all of the people that are regulars there. I was like, gosh, I've always wanted to own a bar in Vermillion, but we just like the aesthetic of our town are the people who go to breweries, professors that relocate for their job, college students. Like we just have all of these people that fit the vibe of a brewery really well. So like, we need one. What's going on? She's like, Ed brews, right? I was like, subconsciously, maybe that's why I said it in front of you, but I don't think I really did know that. And then we just kind of started checking off big checkbox that summer. Like, if we were going to do this, where would we be? And that was one of the hardest challenges. You might have talked about that yesterday, finding an actual space to do it. And then we were like, okay, who are some people that we think really need to like be behind it if it's going to be successful? So we started kind of spreading a rumor that summer at Thursdays on the Plot saying, we're going to open a brewery. And then once certain people started like relaying that back to us, we'd be like, this person just came up to me and said, did you hear a brewery's opening in Vermillion? We're like, all right, people are interested. And then we just started moving.
Because tell me if I'm wrong, but we did a Thursday on the Plots 2 years ago, and because I remember I saw Marcus there.
Yeah.
And we were cleaning up, and then you came up to us, or you came up to Myra, and you said, hey, would you want to make food at a brewery in the future? Was that right?
And this was 3 years ago.
Yeah, I remember
what if
that.
we had really great Mexican food there?
Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
Still interested.
Yeah. Everyone's talking about that, about the kitchen thing in the future.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
How so far with the brewery? How's it been? Because you guys been open, if I remember right, 7 months.
7 months.
Mm-hmm.
Which you could tell me it's been 3 years or 3 months or 3 days, and it would all feel the same. No, it's been awesome. And I think the best part, and that's, I mean, if you've read or seen anything that we've put out, this is the only town I feel like I would have done this in. Ed and I have very different strengths, so we're a great partnership for that reason. But we both love Vermillion. Ed has his family here. I've been here for 10 years since I've graduated college, and just really invested in the community. And the way the community invests back in its local businesses, I think, is really powerful. And I think one of the biggest strengths of Vermillion and having so many local businesses are the people that are coming in and supporting, and just being your cheerleaders. If you don't drink beer, people can still come in and have root beer, or they're just like, oh, can we still have this event here and bring in this drink instead? And just really wanting to support you in whatever way makes sense in their life too is really awesome.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed, and I haven't been to, I think it's like the first brewery and I've said, okay, I'm boring, so I haven't even been to bars, but how people describe it. I think it was that first week or first 2 weeks, we came in here and we're like, oh snap, this place looks nice. Cause I thought it was gonna look like just a bar.
Yeah.
But like, first of all, like the environment is, if people are watching it, like, you got this corner, it looks nice, it's really nice. You guys got games over there. And then another thing that surprised me, because I was like, is this targeted just to like, just college kids, just for drinking? But no, like I've seen families, I've seen older people, younger people. It's nice.
Yeah.
Nice environment.
I think that's what I love about breweries is like, yes, obviously one of the main focal points is beer and drinking. However, if you're just thinking of it as a bar, we're kind of missing like the bigger picture, and the main intention of it is to form community. We have these comfy areas. Come in, bring your kids, play a board game, hang out. If you are having a meeting, use our big 10-top table and sit there and enjoy company in a different environment where you can kind of just like relax and hang out with people that you love, and hopefully enjoy a good beer or two while you're here. But it's just a place to build community in whatever way you're doing it that day, right? And so I think I agree with you. I think a lot of people probably were surprised at just the environment of it, but once we could see it start coming together and see it come to life, I was so excited, because it's just a space we don't really have in Vermillion. Light, open, you can come in, just have one beer and sit there for 3 hours, and we don't care. We're not like, hello, we need that table. Like we just want you to come in and hang out and get to know people.
Yeah. And then another thing that I really, really like is, how like I've always asked everyone, and they say the same thing about more food options.
Yeah.
And then what you guys are doing, even though you guys don't have like, it's not like a restaurant and you guys don't have a kitchen, but you're bringing in like food trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And different varieties. Cause I was talking with Ed about it, and then he said there was also one that did seafood. And then Lazy Susan comes in, and then you guys got other stuff. Oh, snap. Even like, we only done it once in December.
Yeah.
About the tamales.
Yeah.
And we were sitting in the corner. And so, a short story, because it's not about me, but it was great. So, if people don't know, we also make tamales. And in December, that's the biggest time when we do it. And then we contacted y'all, I think, or we contacted you or contacted you, something like that.
Yeah.
But
we've been talking a lot over the 3 years since I tried to get you to come in at Thursdays on the Plots.
Yeah. So we did tamales, and then we were setting up, because I think the plan was like 6 to something or 7. We had it planned out. So we had a big old batch. We set in the corner, and we were waiting. We got here like 5 minutes early. I'm like, okay, there's no one here. So Myra comes, and she's in the bathroom, and then we go, and I'm waiting, and then boom, there's a big old line, and it was all sold out like in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, snap.
I was out of town, and someone texted me, was like, okay, they're already out. I was like, oh, shoot, I should post that.
So, yeah, that was great. It was all gone, and I'm like, we should do this again. That was great. And I like how you guys had different varieties. And then I saw outside you guys got a patio, too.
Yeah. We were really excited for summer. I mean, food trucks are a lot easier to get to come down here in the summer which we knew people were excited about. Vermillion has amazing food in this town, but just getting more variety. So it's like, okay, it's a Wednesday. Where can we go? Oh, brewery has a new food truck. Like, that's a fun thing to get people here. But in the winter, a lot of the trucks don't run. So that's why we have people setting up inside. So summer's been nice for that. And then having a patio space, just being able to get more people in and outside has been really nice.
Because Hex Barbecue has been up here too, right?
Yeah. We've had, honestly, quite the variety, which has impressed me. And they're kind of hard to track down. Not all of them, some of them. And it's been exciting to have them come and just have different food here.
Sweet.
Which I love.
So throughout those 7 months, has there any been like challenges or things you've been like, you know what, hey, this is not how we planned it, or like, oh, I learned about this and this? Because the first thought this is what I thought. You guys open the brewery and then raking in all that money, millionaires. But I'm guessing, it's more.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a slow burn. No, I don't think there's been, luckily, there hasn't been any like crazy things that have taken us completely off guard. And I think that's because we've been talking about it for so long. I mean, it was over 2 years from idea to opening, right? And then we had really thought through everything to the point where we closed on the building in April of 2023 and we're open in November of 2023, which is a pretty quick turnaround. But we had, already started working on plans for the building. Ed had been working on the whole brewing space. I think we had hired Mike at that point. We had made a lot of the big decisions that once we were in here, we're like, okay, now we just need to go so we can get open and start making money. And I think a lot of the lack of big obstacles has been due to our planning in it, which is awesome. I think the biggest challenge for me was I have no training in business and honestly marketing. That's not even something that I have a direct education in. Just have picked up that experience at the university. And so just going through some of like the big state processes. You said you and Ed talked about taxes. I was like, don't talk to me about taxes. Like those things are so out of my realm, just starting to have to work through those and like a big deal. Like this is our finances, a lot of our friends and family's finances, right? Like we want to be mindful of what we're doing, but also do it well and do it right for the community.
Okay. Since you guys haven't done the whole full year yet.
Yeah.
Because you guys opened in
November.
So you guys even hit those like football seasons, I think.
Yeah, luckily we had 2 FCS playoff games, but we're excited for D-Days.
Okay, yeah. So you guys got that, and then still the summer's, I guess, kind of middle of it, starting. So you guys don't know. Has it been slow, like in Vermillion? You know how like Vermillion's like that? Or has it been average?
It's been good. I think winter's always hard here, so getting people out of their houses. So we opened at an unideal time for a bar because it's like people are not spending that much money around the holidays because it's such an expensive time of year. It's negative 30 degrees for 2 weeks, so no one wants to leave their house and then go drink a cold beverage, right? So we opened at a tough time. So summer has been fun just to get people out of their house, onto the patio. We have yard games, that kind of stuff where it's like more of a destination, I'd say, which has been good. So it's been good.
Have you guys, what has the audience been? Has it been more families or more college students, elderly, or just a mixture?
Kind of everybody, which surprised me. When school was still in session, we had more college students than I expected, but kind of became more of maybe like a starting point. Come here, have a couple of drinks while you're getting ready to go out for the night. Or alternatively, graduate students, like a few of the professional programs, we really noticed their students coming in like bigger groups after a test, or they all play intramural basketball and then they all come to the brewery. So I think it is that it's a more casual environment where you can come in, like I said, have one beer over 2 hours, and that's not weird here. Like put out a game and sit here and play Yahtzee for 2 hours, and that's great. That's exactly what we intended for it to be.
Okay. Yeah. I like it because, like I was saying, I haven't, I don't go to bars, but like I was thinking, what are some places we could take the family? Usually we'll have like, it could be Silk Road, Dakota Brick House, Bunyan's, and then we're like, well, what if like, for example, my wife wanted some drinks? Where would we go? But we don't want to take our kid to like a bar,
right?
But yeah, we could like come here, and if there was like one of those food trucks, hey, there's lots of options, and like you're saying, there's some games, you gotta hang out. It's a very calm environment you guys got.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts is seeing some of our friends that have young children that are like, yeah, if we're going out for drinks after work, it's hard for them to pick up their kids from school, right? And then walk into a different bar in town. But having them be able to come here with their kids and just see how comfortable their kids are here. Like warms my heart so much. That's exactly what I wanted when we opened, was like young families or old families, don't care, to come in and be like, okay, it's comfortable for all of us. There's coloring books, there's games, there's root beer and soda, but then there's also drinks. So if your wife wants to have a drink and you want root beer, great, right? Like it's perfect because there's something for everyone.
Now, Katey, what also got you involved in the community? Because last year during that Christmas time, the parade standstill.
I'm making a side career as the MC of Vermillion events, so keep putting plugs in.
Because I see you and Marcus and the stuff. I'm like, oh snap! So you're not just that. You're entrepreneur. You're marketing, and then you got your future USD president and stuff like that. But what attracts you to Vermillion or being involved?
Yeah, I mean, so I left for a year after I graduated and knew that I was interested in coming back and working for the university. And when I did, I got involved in the Young Professionals Network, which is a part of the chamber. It's Vermillion Next, but a subcommittee of the Vermillion Chamber and Vermillion Area Chamber.
VCDC.
Whatever. Yeah.
Like that.
Why can't I know the acronym? Got involved there. And that's honestly where I made a lot of my current friends, is just being involved in the community. And so like I was saying earlier, I think the most special part of this town are the people investing back in the community. And there's so many ways to do that. And so when I first moved back, I got really involved in Thursdays on the Platz and volunteered for that, and then started being like the main volunteer coordinator for that event. Stayed really involved in Vermillion Next and just getting to know the young professionals. But then by nature, that helped me get more involved in the business community, because I'm sure, as you have noticed in your however many years you guys have been here, that once you start getting involved in things, you're seeing the same people at things. And so it is a community you can make a difference. And so I just kept investing in things that I was passionate about, getting involved in different nonprofits and organizations and things that I cared about. And it led me here somehow.
Oh, snap. Yeah. Are you guys going to have plans for Thursday on the Platz or the Ribs Raw? Because those are
yeah. Thursdays on the Platz, since it's just across the street, we're excited for a little roll-up window. It'll be like the perfect spot on a 90-degree day if you don't want to be outside.
I just noticed that.
Yeah, you'll be able to watch the band from indoors with a little bit of AC in that instance. But Ribs Rods is actually going to do I don't think I'm doing any spoilers here. I think this is a real thing for them. Do a craft beer like festival portion of the day. So we're going to be involved in that, which will be fun. Yeah.
Dang. Now you guys, I was talking about Ed, or I was talking to Ed about the future plans, but he said, nah, nothing yet. But do you wish, I don't know, do you guys want to keep opening up new stuff or expand or something? I don't know. What do you want?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good question. A lot of what I spend a lot of time and energy thinking about are the different events that we can have here, ways to engage with the community. So I'm very passionate about bringing an Oktoberfest back to Vermillion. So Jim at the Chamber knows that I care deeply about that. And we've been talking about how to get that back going. And just ways, to engage different people with our business in whatever way makes sense for them. So I spend a lot of time on events, and we're doing a South Dakota Martini Festival in July, which I'm very excited for, which is like typically any domestic beer with a pickle or olive in it, or if you're me, a lot of olives in it. So then here we're doing Bluffs Blonde, and then our Little Devils, that's a blonde with habanero peppers in it. Then with pickle juice, olive juice, and we're going to have like a bar. So it's like an ode to this weird drink that if you're in a different city and you're like, can I have an olive in my beer? They're like, no, that's weird. It's like, no, it's delicious. And you get a snack. So that kind of stuff that's just gets more of my creative juices flowing, but also just stuff that excites me. So, and I hope by nature there's going to be other people that are like, oh, that will be fun and a good thing to come support.
So there's a lot of stuff coming in Vermillion. And then so we've been here we're about to hit 4 years. And one thing that we've noticed is there wasn't like that much stuff going on. Like we heard the Thursday on the Platz was cool. Then the parade of, was it Standstill?
Yeah, Standstill Parade of
Lights. The other years, I thought, it's because, okay, I got to stop the comparison because I'm from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Sure.
Everything's bigger.
Yeah.
But even those...
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Yeah. But even with that stuff, I was like, I don't know. Until last year, like the Parade of Lights, I was like, oh, snap, this one was... Maybe because the weather.
Yeah.
A little more warmer.
It was a beautiful night for a Parade of Lights.
Yeah, so that one was... And then there was more stuff. I felt like how you guys were doing the thing with the Santa. That was great. And I think they said I think Jim was saying there might be some changes with the think say Thursday on the parts are ribs, but even with the ribs raw, it's like we did it 2 years ago. Last year we took a break, and I liked it, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell my parents they should come see the ribs rods. And they came last year, and it was way smaller than before, and I was like, man, that's
Like, I really hyped this up.
yeah, I did hype it up. Because another thing that surprised me is there's not like a bunch of, I don't know if it's like a fair or carnival or like a huge festival. Because we went to last year, there was a fall festival in Centerville. We went and we're like, well, let's just go. It was huge in Centerville.
Yeah.
It was huge. They had like haunted house, which scared me. They had rides. They had, I think, a few food trucks. They had some, the Mexican restaurant that was making tacos like how we did outside. They had like a bunch of vendors. And I was like, how come Vermillion doesn't have that? But it looks like hopefully it is starting up. Like
Yeah. I think the challenge too, which is awesome that Centerville can pull off an event like that, right? I think the hard part in a town, what I love about a town the size of Vermillion is that you can really make a difference, right? If you want to get involved and you want to do things, you can really like impact the quality of life for other people in our town. The challenge is there's so many people willing to volunteer and then so many people just like wanting things to happen, right? And so getting more people behind the like, oh, that event sounds awesome. Who is a group of people willing to like help put something like that together? And the downtown business community is awesome. I mean, they do that holiday stroll that's just volunteers putting it together. I shouldn't name names. I think Becky's really involved in it, but just people who are like willing to put in the work to do something to add to the community. And so finding more people, like whenever people say to me, there's nothing happening in Vermillion, I'm like, then you're not trying very hard because there's something going on all the time. If it's not what you want, then let's talk about it and find a way to do it, right? So I think just inspiring people who want to make the town better to like get involved and do those things is something that I'm quietly trying to do whenever people move to town. I'm like, oh yeah, that does sound fun. This group would probably be interested in helping put it together.
Okay, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're right. Because there is people, yeah, if you want something, hey, maybe.
Yeah, not everyone has that capacity, and that's fair too, but yeah.
Yeah. Now, another thing is, since you work at the university, how are you balancing that out? Especially because you say you're the director too, right?
Yeah, I'm the director of admissions and marketing at the law school. This is my longest position I've held at the university by choice. I should clarify. And it's great. I love the law school. I will stay there until I retire if they let me. Like, it is an awesome place to work. The balance is more challenging, especially in summer with food trucks and events and all of that kind of stuff. Interferes a little bit. Not interferes, but just is a balancing act, right? And so I am very extroverted and my cup is filled by spending time with people I love. And so then having to like prioritize, no, you need to stay at home and like email all of these food trucks versus going to happy hour with your friends or going on the river. That I would honestly say is the harder part. Like, I can do my job and then still have time to do this in the evening. Mm-hmm. It's me prioritizing work over play, which
so with your connection with like the law school USD, do you guys get like a lot of USD faculty, staff, or do events?
I wouldn't even say necessarily because of our connection to USD. I honestly just think that's because it was a missed environment in the community that when we opened, there were so many professors that were like, finally, a place like this to hang out. And so we do notice a lot of faculty members coming, staff members from the university coming, but I don't think it's because some of them for sure, because I know Ed and I, but I think a lot of that too is they're just like, oh, good, there's a place like this for us in town now.
Mm-hmm. So what got you into working at the law school?
When I first came back to the university, I was in undergraduate admissions, and then I moved to sorority and fraternity life. Mm-hmm. And then I went back to undergrad admissions, but I was up in Sioux Falls, and I told my boss at the time, I was like, I love my job, but I'm either moving to Sioux Falls or I'm finding a job back on main campus. And he was like, all right, the dean of the law school has a position open and you should talk to him. I was like, okay. So interviewed for that and moved back to, and I actually was commuting the opposite way of most people. I was commuting from Vermillion to Sioux Falls while everyone else is like driving the opposite way. So I was like, I don't want to leave town, but like commuting an hour both ways is not it for me. So
you really like Vermillion.
I do. Yeah.
And it's grown on us because the the plan was we were just going to be here because we came here during COVID. So
Yeah.
2020. So we were just thinking, oh, just for a year, and then we'll go back to Texas. Apparently
Here you are.
yeah, we're here, and we might be moving to or building a house right here. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, I guess this is it. And we like the community. That's
And hopefully found like it's a good place for a family too, right? Like it's safe and comfortable, and hopefully that's been reflected in your experience.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed. It's safe, especially compared to like different places, but
Yeah.
it's safe. And then
Yeah.
the community, like this is the first place where like, you know, you get to have like a connection with the people and the community. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of influences everything. It's a very, I like it. It's small, and I was talking with Ed about it and other people, and I had to change my mindset because at first I was like, there is nothing. Like, there's nothing to do. But then you find out, hey, maybe there's this. And also another thing that would bother us is not too much on buying, like going out to eat because we like cooking inside, but buying like our ingredients, like we cannot find
Fair.
here.
Yeah.
And that happens with a lot of people, especially with different cultures. So we'll go to Sioux City, actually mostly Sioux City.
Yeah.
And before I was like, man, I wish there was more stuff here. But then
No, and that's a totally fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are some resources, especially, I mean, the law school recruits students from all over the country. And so when there is really specific needs for students, I think that is the biggest challenge, and like the access to different resources for sure.
Yeah. And then
something we could improve.
And also you gotta, you know, it's not like an easy business. It should be, oh, let me open up like a grocery store with
Right.
if you're competing. Another thing that's kind of cool.
And it'd have to be like the most like diverse array of food too. You'd be like, we want to be able to support everyone in our community that wants these specialty grocery stores, right? It'd be like,
yeah.
Which would be like a very cool grocery store. So I would support you in opening that.
Because that was one of those ideas. I was like, I wish, like an international grocery store, especially because I went to the farming market, and it's way different than the market where I go to in Texas.
Yeah.
Everything's different.
Yeah.
And then a friend of ours, or a couple, they from church, and they help with international students. It's called Global Friends.
Oh, cool.
So they said, hey, I like the idea. And then they bought like a trailer, and then so they help a lot of I think the people are from Bangladesh and India and some parts of Asia, but they started buying food from Omaha, ingredients, and they bring it here and they advertise for like the group of people. I'm like, oh, snap.
Wait, that is cool.
Yeah, so now they don't have to, because they would drive all the way to Omaha.
Yeah.
So now they're doing it. They'll post it like, hey, we'll do it like on Saturday, and it's next to the apartments where all of these students live. So
Yeah.
there you go.
No, that's awesome.
So yeah, there's stuff going on. You just gotta kind of find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, adjust your expectations. Like we still are in a small town. So
Yeah.
there's only going to be so much we can do. But the proximity to like Sioux Falls, Sioux City, and Omaha is nice for sake of like travel, right? Like whenever I travel and I'm paying like twice as much for dinner, and then you come home and you're like, it's so nice to be here.
Yeah.
But then you are like, okay, now Target. I guess I'll go to Sioux City.
Yes, because that's and I gotta balance that, because it is nice. We're like, all right, fine, let's go. We'll go like maybe every 2 weeks. We gotta go to Sioux City, buy a bunch of stuff, but then we come back and then it's a nice calm. There's no traffic.
Yeah.
I could if I have a garage, I could leave it open, because that's one surprise that when we got here, I was like, hey, I think these people forgot to close their garages.
Yeah.
And then
Like, no, we just don't care.
yeah, that's why. And then there was another thing. There was a coworker. She showed me that. So some people, it's not everyone, they don't lock their doors. So she showed me on their security camera. They were just, I don't know what day it was, but some college kid just came in. I'm like, oh, snap. I was like, did he like rob you? I was like, no, he just came in and we told him, hey, you're at the wrong house. I was like, oh, snap, that stuff happens. And then there'll be crime, somewhere, but like most of the stuff will be like robbing or stealing a bike. Usually,
Yeah.
it's like a drunk college kid, or they'll borrow it, then they just leave it somewhere. So
Sometimes it is returned.
yeah,
Not always in the same shape. Yeah.
yeah. So the community is, I do like Vermillion.
Yeah.
So I gotta be careful. I'm like, man, I wish it was bigger, because I don't want it to be like Sioux Falls.
Right. Right.
You just want a little more, some variety. It is growing. Like
Yeah.
you got the brewery. There's restaurants coming up. There's more events, hopefully. So yeah, I'm liking it. I'm
Yeah.
liking it.
It's a change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, now, any you think you're gonna stay in Vermillion forever, or you don't know yet?
I mean, as a business owner, that's a challenge. It's like I wouldn't say no or yes, right? Like I love the town, and as long as it's suiting me, then yeah.
And then, since you are a business owner, has it changed you, or new connections, or what? How does it feel, especially becoming? I think you guys are you guys have the only brewery. You guys are big in town. I think everyone knows y'all. You guys are famous.
I don't think it's changed me. I do think that, I mean, I'm doing everything I like, right? Like I actually love coming here from USD work and coming here, which I'm like, I call it my aggressive hobby. Like this is a very aggressive hobby to pick up. But when I'm bartending, it's like, I'm just talking to people. Like that's so fun for me. And that's why I wanted to do something like this. So I wouldn't say it's changed me. Added to my plate for sure. But I'm bad at saying no to things, as many people in this town have probably learned. So
that's what I like about. So we are not as big as y'all at all. But like the difference is you get to, like with us, since we prepare our food like in front of people.
Yeah.
I get to
talk
to a lot of people. And the cool thing about Vermillion, especially when people ask, why did you start this thing? It's because for me, it's so weird that in a small town in South Dakota, there's so many like unique backgrounds and people. I'm like, it's strange. Here in the Midwest, it's more, I guess, what's the word, diverse than where I'm from. Like, oh snap, different people.
I think being a university town makes us a very fun place to live. Like I love summer Vermillion, love summer Verm, but then I'm so ready for everyone to come back too, because it just adds so much to like the liveliness of the community. And then the university is attracting, different families from all over the country to come, whether they're faculty or whatever it is. So yeah, it's a fun town.
So before we end this, because we're almost running out of time, is there any like last words or shout outs you want to give? Because I already gave going to the brewery's great. I think it's great.
Thank you. No, I mean, I appreciate you doing this. And I think it's so cool that you're interviewing so many people that, we know, like in this town, so many people, and it's like, everyone in Vermillion, but it's like, how many times do you actually like sit down and get to know them in different ways? So it's been fun to listen and hear different people's like motivations for opening businesses, or just little tidbits of their story that you haven't heard before. So I think this is so cool. Thank you for inviting me.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, Katey.